We're streaming.
We are in a minute. There we go. Okay. I think that's right. I think I did that right. I did that right. Cool. That makes me happy. Welcome to the Guy Sessions, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Devon J Hall from Loudmouth Brown Girl. There we go. Tonight at the table, I am joined by my friend and co-host, Renita. I think that's right. I think I did that right.
I think you did that right.
Cool. Makes me happy. Welcome to the Guy Sessions, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Devon J Hall from Loudmouth Brown. There we go.
Love it. It was great to hear that again.
I'm like, why is there an echo? All right, so this is how it's gonna go. Renita is gonna introduce herself, but before we get to that part, I just want to remind people that we are going to be talking about some sensitive and some adult topics this evening, which is why it's so late in some areas. So if you have children in the room or you have vulnerable ears, you might want to get them out of the room while Miss Renita is introducing herself, because we don't want to offend anybody, but we probably at some point will offend everybody. And won't that make for great internet television? We respectfully acknowledge the land upon which we gather, live, and connect. It is the land of the Tsleil-Waututh, the Kwantlen, and the Semi-Amu. So thank you for letting us use your space and your land so that we can be here together tonight. Renita, I don't want to talk anymore. So do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Renita Qurils. At first I saw like Renita Bets and Caps. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so yelling. But my name is Renita Qurils, and my name of my platform is Be Your Own Kind. Basically my platform just it's never an inopportune time to be yourself. Like, what is the point of wasting time being someone else when you're just awesome within yourself? So that's what my platform is all about.
Love it. All right. So we have some topics on some pretty cards here, all randomly chosen from TMZ because I was bored and stoned last night. And I was like, what's TMZ talking about? So I grabbed pretty much all of these from them, so you can blame Harvey and Charles. It's all their fault. I take no responsibility for anything anybody says. Neither does Renita. And let's have some fun. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grace, I can be.
So the very first topic is one that I picked specifically because on one hand, everybody has the right to an opinion, but on the other hand, some opinions should just be kept to your damn self. So football heroes and celebrities, should they have a right to speak out on politics? Renita?
I mean, yeah, if they know about politics. Like I feel like people are misspeaking because they don't have the information or the education. I mean, it's not what you do that makes you qualified for the conversation, is what you know.
What do you think, Savannah?
Yeah, I agree with Renita. And I'm sorry I said your name. I have kind of a speech impediment. Renita. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, so long as they know what they're talking about, which a lot of them unfortunately don't, they can have their own opinions, but then people can have their own opinions about their opinions, So whenever they express themselves, they should be prepared to accept the criticism that they're inevitably going to get. So
what do you think, Barrie?
Well, I mean, I kind of agree on the same platform as everyone should have their own voice, but an informed voice is definitely going to bring a lot more to the table. What you can't do is avoid criticism of what you're presenting forward to the world, because that's just the way society works. I don't like that certain campaigns use celebrities as forefronts to like drive political power. Like a major political issue in Newfoundland, where I'm from, a while back was the seal hunt, and they had a Beatle, one of the Beatles, Sir Elton John, I believe it was, on the news to speak out against the seal hunt, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm here in Newfoundland. I'm here where they're doing it." And at the time, he was in PEI And it's just that he didn't even know where he geologically was to, let alone the issues that surround that political thing. So I was just like, yes.
I want to say no because I want to be controversial and I like to be controversial. But also because, like, shut up. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, like, if you have an opinion,
I don't
have it.
TMZ because I want to know what's going on with Black Lives Matter. Although I will say they did an amazing job highlighting what was going on with Black Lives Matter. But I turn into TMZ because I need to turn my brain off. I need something that is just stupid, that is not, the world is ending, aliens are coming, we've just turned on nuclear, we've learned how to deal with fusion power. Like, just stop. I need to not be smart for 1 hour a day, and TMZ is my only chance to do that. And if everybody is woke, I'm sorry, I don't get a break. I get no escape because I'm living in a pandemic and I'm about that pandemic life. I'm isolating every day, have been for 3 years. I need the stupid. I need you to, like, entertain me so I don't have to focus on the fact that I am terrified about everything under the sun. 22 cents.
Entertainment for entertainment, not for news.
I just need some celebrities to just be stupid for a while, please. I appreciate you. Look, I give Kanye a lot of shit, but if I didn't have Kanye to, like, gasp over, I wouldn't have anything entertaining to talk about. And I would be so bored. It would be nothing but politics all the time. And I get a lot of that between writers and editors of color, Loudmouth Brown Girl, my community work, like, a lot of it is political. And so I just need that kind of, like, drink of water to kind of cover the dry heat that is the world ending in, like, every conceivable way, all at once. Because we have it all right now. We got Nazis, we got white supremacy is back in like, we have it all. The climate change, Space Force, it, like, aliens are apparently visiting Earth now. Like, it's all at once, and it's just a little too much for me.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's too much. I agree.
I
Well,
can
yeah.
understand that.
These last 2 years has been definitely intense for everybody.
Remember those stories, Barrie, that we used to have to do provincial tests in junior high school and elementary, right? And we have to write a story about the future. And I wrote a story about aliens coming to Earth. And now I'm, like, 38 and I'm like, shit, that's actually happening.
This was supposed to be fictional.
Space that's beeping at the Earth every 18 minutes. And nobody knows what it is. Marvel was right. Like, I'm a little freaked out. I need some dumb celebrities. So, Renita, on live stream, I'm telling you, I'm still gonna bust on Kanye, but it's out of love a little bit.
Are you saying that Kanye is unintelligent?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I'm deaf.
Are you saying that Kanye West is unintelligent? Because he is quite, that's the problem. He's too intelligent.
Oh, hell no, you did not just go there.
You know I was gonna go there. And I don't care who don't like him. I love Kanye West.
I'm just gonna skip by that comment. It's a technical glitch. What embarrasses you?
Huh. I don't know, because I laugh when silly things happen. Like, I do have the knack of, like, falling out of nowhere. It's almost like God sticks his foot out and trips me, because I just fall over nothing. Like,
I used to do that too.
Yeah, my balance is just, like, totally off. I remember one time, me and Derek, it was like a snowstorm, like it was last week, and we were just walking in all the snow, and because snow is quiet, I have fell face first. He didn't even know. Like, by the time I had climbed up out of the snow, he was so far up. I saw him look up like, where did she go? Just in the snow, face down in the snow.
I've done that. Rachel is trying to join us, and God bless her heart for continuing to try and speak up. Rachel, we see you. We know you're there, love, and we appreciate your presence at our table, even if we can't hear you. You're welcome to stay as long as you can. What about you, Savannah? What's something that embarrasses you? Oh, I guess I guess she didn't want to stay that long.
Definitely public speaking. And I mentioned this, beforehand. Part of the reason why I joined here is to get used to talking to people. But it's just like, I don't know, whenever I'm with a group of people and somebody asks me a question, my mind just goes blank. Like I've been interviewed like our Sunday chats with Woke. I've been interviewed before, and Hal asked me like this really good question, and I was just like, I don't know what to say. Yeah. So, just trying to speak publicly is something that embarrasses me. Plus, I, kind of have a speech impediment that I tried to disguise. So
I don't think you should, though. I feel like I used to work at a radio station, and one of the things when we were signing up volunteers, that a lot of the Indo-Canadian and the Haitian and the East Indian and the Punjabi men would say is, I don't want to get on the radio because I'm afraid people won't understand my voice or won't like my voice. And I'm like, dude, but if not you, who? Like, who's going to be that voice on the radio that little kid hears and goes, oh, that sounds like me. That's my voice. That's my accent. That's my speech impediment. That's the way that I fluctuate my words, right? And so I feel like the more of us that are speaking out, regardless of what we sound like, it only is the better, because you never know when that little person is going to hear you or see you when they're walking by, and they're going to be like, oh, she's got my hair, my glasses, my lips, like something about you is going to resonate with somebody smaller than you who wants to do what you're doing, right? And so it's so imperative for you to fight that. And I appreciate that you chose to do that tonight.
Yes, that's a big step. Yes.
That's huge.
Well, I appreciate being invited. So
I'm gonna ask Barrie what embarrasses him, but before you answer, I am not gonna chime in because I already know all the answers. And I don't want to embarrass you because you really are my best friend, and I don't want to. Frankly, I don't want to piss off Robin. I'm a little afraid of her.
Well, first off, I'm not going to say clowns. But,
like I said, I know all the stories, and I might be a little afraid of Robin, but she's on the other side of the country. So.
But you also know I'm harder to embarrass than most because of the way my mother was. So mostly, what I find most embarrassing is when I'm going on with a good story or facts or something, and then I'm completely and utterly wrong. But I'm going for it 100%, and I'm convicted. It's like, this is right, and then finding out later that I'm so wrong. I'm just like,
So basically,
I find that the most embarrassing thing, and I do it a lot. Is the problem?
Just
like, a lot.
Stand on it.
Like, that's amazing. I feel like that's
like, no, this is right.
Do. I feel like that's the thing that guys just do. But I've done it too, though. I've done it like where I've rattled off about something and I'm like, oh shit, I was wrong. Oops.
At least you tried to think about it. My thing is like, I don't know, and then I move on. I don't even try to think about it, or like,
this is how it goes in my head. But
all right. This is kind of a serious topic, and I don't really have kids, so I don't really care. But for those of you that do have kids in your life, vax mandates in schools. How do you feel about vaccinations being mandated for teachers and students in schools?
They have been for the last 50 years as it is. This is just a new vaccination.
Yeah.
It's not a new thing.
That is so true.
Smallpox, whooping cough, like all of these were already prior mandated. This is not a new. It's just a new vaccine. So, in my opinion, we're not losing or gaining anything at all. I mean, but I mean, you have a choice to get it, and if you don't, you can't be in the public pool. It's the way it's already been.
Yeah.
And you make a good point, because I saw on Instagram somebody was like, they're gonna have you taking this vaccine every year, and I'm like, just like the flu shot. What's the
Just like the
difference?
flu shot. Yeah.
But I remember when
And I
the
have
flu
severe
shot
respiratory
came out.
issues. So for me, flu shot is just a part of my yearly thing.
I
Yeah.
remember when the flu shot, like when it really first came out, and it was like, man, like everybody was taking it back in the 90s. Our parents were pissed about it in Canada. They're like, why do we gotta do this? And then it just kind of became a thing. It's like, it's just what you do. It's like you go buy underwear, you go get a vaccine. It's the same thing. It's just what you do.
It's the human response. We fear anything we don't know. And if we don't know all the facts, even though they're there, current day and the way technology is working, there's a lot of false facts coming in. And what do we believe, right? We believe the people that are closest to us. So if our friend posts something, we're going to believe that more so than, say, this scientific journal, which is very dry and hard to read, right?
Okay, but I'm going to argue that point, Barrie, because you and I both.
Oh, I know you're not arguing the point, but I'm just saying this
No,
is kind of like
I'm
human reaction, right?
Because you and I grew up on the internet, literally. Like, we spent a ridiculously disturbing amount of time on the internet in our teen years.
Who needs sleep when you can role play in chat rooms, right?
Right, but we never became radicalized by the right. I don't want to say by the right, but we never became radicalized in ways that were detrimental to our safety or our health or the health of those around us.
Yeah, but the strength of social media in those times was much weaker. I mean, the highest social space we had was MySpace, other than a chat room, which was not a lasting way of posting information because it gets buried in the new information.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. NFL and racism. Let's get into this, because this weekend's Super Bowl is gonna be sick. It's gonna be amazing and phenomenal and like just ridiculous. I know Renita has no idea what I'm talking about.
I do, Eminem.
Right, I'm a track and field kind of guy myself. I don't do football
Yeah,
much.
I don't watch sports at all.
You see, I'm talking about the halftime. I'm like, Eminem, Snoop Dogg. I'm definitely watching it. I'm here for halftime. Mary J. Blige. Yes.
Okay, but here's the problem. Going all the way back to Colin Kaepernick, the NFL has been accused, and even before then, of being racist, homophobic, sexist, all of the things. Is it okay to support the NFL during the Super Bowl with all of this going on? Like, do we support the Super Bowl because we're in the middle of a pandemic and we don't have any entertainment? Do we not support it because they're expecting 70,000 fans in the middle of a pandemic, and because they're racist, and because they're homophobic? Like, what the hell do we do? Moral compass police, let us know.
I mean, the same thing we're doing with Spotify. The same thing we do with other brands that are racist. Life goes on. People don't like, people attention span is so short. It's like, oh, let's fight for equality. Oh, but they just put Eminem on there, or they just put Snoop on there, so they can't be that racist. You know what I'm saying? Or let's boycott Spotify. Oh man, the new Nicki Minaj song came out. Let me just hit play there. Like it's no one is like.
You're definitely not wrong on that front.
Yeah, no one's stuck.
Hey, I did. I got rid of Spotify.
I didn't.
I got bullied into it by my own moral compass. I was like, okay, if it gets much worse, I'll get rid of it. Okay, if it gets a little worse, just a little worse, just a little worse. And then the N-word video came out, and I went, oh hell no. And that was me done. And I can't give you my money.
But just like Netflix, how many controversial movies or shows that people like take them off, and they're like,
or teen porn.
Yeah, that Cuties. Is that the name of that movie? Oh my God, that movie was. I watched it just because of the controversy, and I had to take a shower afterwards because I felt so. It was too much for kids, but it had a point in that movie. The point is the media is so over sexualized that it trickles down to our youth, and we get mad at them, but we're not watching what they're watching or what they're absorbing. So it made a point. It was just
we're not watching it in like their mind frame either, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can assure you that if any parent who was 17 or 18 when Barrie and I were 17 or 18 isn't paying attention to what their kid is doing on the computer, they're screwed, because I know what we were doing at 17 and 18 on the computer.
The words that would come across our keyboards would make the youth today blush.
Yeah.
This is why I'm surprised of the direction of your current book.
I mean, I'm saying, right? It's
Yeah.
weird. Believe me, I'm well aware how weird it is that I am writing a book about mental health, and I have no words. There's two interesting topics here that I pulled, and I'm not quite sure which one to go with because they kind of go together. But let's go with this one because we were kind of already talking about it anyway. Joe Rogan, hero, anti-hero, douchebag, loser. What is he?
Back.
Didn't he start his career in Canada?
I don't know nothing about him. I can look it up.
I feel like I know too much about him, considering
all I know that he's a podcaster that's been putting on a lot of controversial stuff. That's my sense of my exposure.
I've never heard of him
because I don't go looking for that kind of content.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just judging who his audience is, I can get an idea of what sort of podcaster he is. And then, with the current controversies, around like the COVID misinformation and of course the racism, I think my judgment of him is correct. He's a douchebag. So.
I mean, I just feel like there's only so many apologies I can hear before I'm like.
I think Renita's reading some spicy details there from the reaction on her face.
Well, now I know who he is. He was the host of Fear Factor. Okay, I just saw his picture. I'm like, oh, I do know this dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had an exclusive developmental deal with Disney.
Well, Disney has grown up, and she is not the Disney that you once knew and loved.
I don't see anything about Canada.
I just feel like there's too many times, like there's just too many apologies or too many times you apologize for basically the same kind of behavior before I tune out. Like once is a choice, twice is an accident, 3 times, that's not a mistake. That's you continuing to behave badly over and over and over and over again. And by the 15th time, I'm like, yeah, I've already heard this apology before.
It's like basically poking a bear and seeing what you can get away with before it bites you.
Yeah.
Well,
and now we have this person in Canada doing the same thing. Sorry, Savannah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like his apology about using the N-word, like he whined about, it being taken out of context and, but there's no reason for him to use it. Like, I think it was like 70 plus times and with so much glee in his, in his voice,
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was just like a faux apology for me.
It was a no apology for me.
Context or not, someone of his stature shouldn't be using the word.
I mean, Barrie has been my friend for 20 years, and I don't exaggerate. It's actually 22 years, I think. And he has never used that word. Never. Not in any communication we have ever had. And I never had to ask him to use that word. I've never had to explain it. You just chose not to use the word.
I don't have a reason to use it.
It's as simple as that.
Just don't.
Yeah. Choose not to use it. There is a video of me with a former bud sister that I'm no longer a bud sister, but there's a video of me that I have where I used the word because I was talking about a specific thing that happened and I was explaining the word that I used and why I used it, and I kept using it, and I decided I was like, you know what, I'm not going to post this. I'm not putting this, like, I know why I used that word. I think it was justified. I will always think that it was justified in the moment, considering what happened. But I'm not going to share that moment with the world for them to dissect it and tell me, well, maybe you should have, No, it's none of your business. That was a traumatizing experience in my life, and I had no control over how I reacted because I was trying to save my own life. Like, I'm not going to put it out there, right? He had that choice. He had the choice to not put it out there, and he continued to do that 70 times.
Well, he said that it was regretful. He apologized because calling his language regretful and shameful, while saying that he was not racist and only quoted the slur to discuss its use by others.
Nope.
Yeah, but
We're discussing
the
it right
way that he
now
said
and
it,
talking
way-
about the use by others, and we are ourselves not using it. So
Exactly.
it's not
That's
necessary.
the
It's
lane.
so ingrained in a culture. Anyone that comes into a sound clip of this knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not necessary to discuss it, like the use of the actual word.
I agree. And so Spotify says he need to add a disclaimer at the beginning of his videos that it was no punishment. It's just like, oh, just use a disclaimer so you can just say whatever the hell you want next time.
It's just so Spotify can cover their own butts with their
I mean, if
lawyers,
Spotify
basically.
wants to pay me $100 million, I could put on an entertaining as hell show. I could get every celebrity through the door, and I would have a great time. I would enjoy getting paid $100 million, and I will never cause you any trouble. Just saying, I'll bring Renita with me. We'll have a great time. We'll do the show from Paris.
I just feel like sometimes people just do stuff for shock value just to be paid attention to. Like, you know darn well you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
But this will keep a conversation going. I've never heard of him. Like, I guess I seen him on Fear Factor, but that was it. But I didn't know.
To be fair, you've never heard of Chris Evans.
True, but I did watch Fear Factor, but never knew that was his name.
And he's like one of the most famous people in the world.
Well, I know now because of you and because you had me watch Captain America.
Okay, do you know who Chadwick Boseman is?
It sounds familiar. Next question.
I don't even know who he is, so don't feel bad.
I don't know either.
Black Panther.
Oh, I seen the movie. I seen that movie.
I don't remember celebrity names. I barely remember my son's name half the time.
Okay, well, that's because you gave him the old Scottish version of his name.
Irish, but yes.
Oy vey. What major life experience radicalized you? Savannah, you want to go first?
Oh, this is a difficult question for me. I don't know, just a lot of things. I would say in general, college did, because I learned, I grew up in an all-white environment, and I experienced a lot of shit. I'll just leave it at that. But I didn't know how wrong it was until I went to college and I got access to therapy, and then I got mentors, and I didn't realize how messed up it was, and I got very angry. And I kind of mellowed out during the throughout the years, but I used to be angry. I didn't know what to do with the anger. Now I can sort of target it better nowadays. But yeah, college and just learning what was done to me was wrong. That really radicalized me.
I would say losing Barrie for a couple of years, because we lost touch for a little while, because he fell in love or whatever with the perfect person, and I went and lived my life and he lived his life, and then losing that and going out and actually becoming my own human being for a little while outside of our internet friendship and the other friendships I had online, that really radicalized me, because it showed me what the world was like. I learned a lot about homelessness and poverty and addiction and mental health issues. And that really kind of was oh, okay. I didn't know all this was happening while I was hiding in my safe zone. And then I got out of my safe zone and it was oh, this is a scary place. I've walked into hell. Interesting. And then coming back online in the early 2000s and Anonymous and all that.
Oh yeah, the internet definitely helped, because I just learned more and more things.
Yeah.
And then, I could post angry stuff on LiveJournal or something. And
I forgot about LiveJournal.
Barrie and I both had LiveJournal, and that's how he got me into writing, actually.
Most of mine was poetry.
I wouldn't be a writer if it weren't for him.
Not good stuff, but
It was great stuff. Okay, it was okay stuff.
It was okay stuff. Come on.
It was really good. He's an amazing writer. Really talented. What about you, Renita? What radicalized you?
I was thinking, I don't know, this whole police brutality thing, like that's always just, and it's just a senseless kill. Like just being raised in Chicago and just seeing so many senseless people killed. I mean, my sister's 26 years old and she's lost about maybe 4 or 5 friends, and it started when she was in high school. Just people in their living room, and they're just minding their own business, and babies getting killed, and and they just ignore the whole fact of gun control and all, and like where kids could just come into school and just shoot up everyone, and no one says anything, and they glorify violence, on in the media, but they don't highlight how many mothers are without their kids, because someone was mad, for no reason. Like my sister's brother-in-law was killed for no reason. He was trying to stop a fight and get 2 people to get along. One person didn't like that and he just killed him. He wasn't even like 30. You know what I'm saying? And it's just so senseless. And then everyone wants to argue about black on black crime, or whites having guns. It don't matter what the color is. It don't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to it. Everybody losing people. It doesn't matter.
Dude, I mean, it's happening here. We had a 24-year-old young East Indian man who was shot to death the other night, right? And it just up the street from a house. And a 17-year-old kid the week before that, and a 30-year-old guy the week before that. And it just like, it doesn't matter what color your skin is, how much money you have, what gang you claim, that life is going to get you killed. And we know that. That's not the problem. The problem is when it's happening and nobody's doing anything to stop it.
Exactly.
School programs, no funding for school programs, no funding for food, no funding for proper education, no funding to inspire these kids with music and art, and the ability to, like what Savannah was saying early, target that anger into something positive.
Right.
You don't have people teaching these kids there's a different way. You end up like me, trying to fight your way back from a world you didn't want to be a part of to begin with.
Exactly. And you know how many empty schools there are? And they just close schools for no reason. And it's just empty buildings sitting there. Why don't you make an after school program, for the kids? It's nothing for the kids to do. They're taking off the nets on the hoops and all of this. And it's like, well, what else are they supposed to get into? And it's not even just the inner youth, like, I feel like my respect for humanity, which sounds really, really big, was the bombing in Florida. And I saw comments that were like, I'm gonna get teary-eyed, whatever. It was like, well, if they weren't gay, then they wouldn't have been dead. They deserve to be dead. This is somebody's kid. This is somebody's kid. So their life is reduced down to that. They should have got killed. And it's like, every year I lose a little bit of hope in humanity, because they just spewing stupid shit on social media for no reason. And nobody cares about the power of their words, or people getting bullied, and kids like juvenile suicide has just like increased because of social media, because people don't care about what they say or how they make somebody feel. And I'm sorry, it clearly it's still.
No, you have
really
nothing to apologize for, because you say that every year you get a little less hopeful, and every year I get a little more hopeful, because I meet women like you. I meet women like the Afro Canada Bud Sisters. I meet Barrie. Like, Barrie and I have been friends for 20 fucking years. A black woman and a white man. Y'all tell me it can't be done. How many romance comedies are there? White friends, they have to have sex with each other. No, they fucking don't. We have proven that it is possible to do this. And we're both excited for each other when the other has something good going on in each other's life, right? And so, like, I have hope that things are going to get better, but I don't think that they're going to get better if we're not ready to fight.
Yeah. And I agree with that. And when we just realize that it's just not okay. And what I mean by that is, I was like so pro-America, so pro this, so pro that. I lived in my little pro bubble. Then the older I got, the bubble got popped, and then I saw like some of the stuff in the world that it just literally broke my heart. Some of the things that people say on social media because they can hide behind their keyboard. You know what I'm saying? And if someone does hurt themselves, oh well, they should have been strong enough. What?
Barrie and I experienced a lot of that too when we were teens and online and stuff. There were a lot of trolls, and we didn't know back then. Like you didn't know how to deal with them, and so you just you railed back at them, and then they railed back at you, and it started a flame war. And then eventually, your characters fell in love, and you ended up having phone sex. Like that was that was how we dealt with our internet.
Welcome to our teen years.
Good old days.
He's like, all right, look, we're either going to keep fighting or we're going to have phone sex. Which is it going to be? Barrie, what radicalized you?
Well, as you grew up, I grew up not knowing my own sexuality. So high school, everything was absolutely terrible for me. And when it really hit home is when I got married. My father stood up during the speeches and the words came across, at least he's not gay. And I was like, thanks, Dad. Now I know you don't support who I am because I am omnisexual. So I just happen to prefer women. But that showed like a person who I respected and looked up to can have such a perverse outlook on the world, knowing what I went through as a child with everything, because he knew there was something different about me. I never hid it. I still don't, and I don't apologize for anything I did based off of all of that. So knowing that someone that's so close can be just so vile in thought lets you know that people that you're not close with can be even worse.
Yeah.
And I mean, stay quiet on that is it's just as much as joining them.
Yep.
I love you for saying that.
Thank you for letting me.
In general, I've always loved you, and I compare every man in my life gets compared to Barrie Hall without question. My pen name is the way that it is because I shortened my last name, so we have the same name. Every man in my life gets compared to you because I've always said that you will be at my wedding, whether I have to come get you in snowshoes or not, because I missed yours. Yeah. And so it's like, I always think, is this somebody that I could introduce to Barrie? Because if it's not somebody I could introduce to you, then like, you got to go. Just stop wasting my time. Get out of my face. Leave me alone. I'm busy. I've got things going on. And for me, I want to get into talking about relationships because we're all in them or we've had them, or we're ignoring them, such as myself. One of the things, when it comes to being radicalized and being in a relationship, do the people in your life support you?
Well, yeah, because I feel like they're going through the same thing I'm going through. So yeah.
Sometimes I'm told be quiet on my tangents I go on because I do get heated. I do get angry about certain things, and I do go on, and it's a repeat of things I've said before that some people in my life are just like, we know. It's like, yes, but nothing is done about it.
Mm-hmm.
So but you're complicit. So in with that way, sometimes I feel like I have support, I just don't have some.
Again. You could start writing again.
Yeah.
Just saying, you are a brilliant writer.
I'm dyslexic. I'm a horrible writer.
You are not. You are a genius writer. All right, ladies. You know what Fashion Week is, right? Is it where they walk down this aisle? I'm joking. All right, Fashion Week. Should we keep it or is it time to say goodbye? Girl, never bye. I love a good fashion show. Are you serious? Yes, keep it coming. I'm actually going to swim week this year. My cousin's gonna be her label. I don't know what it's called. It's gonna be in there. So yeah, I'm gonna be there at Swim Fashion Week.
Don't forget to get your pictures taken so we can use them for the calendar.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll tell you about that project next week, not that you'll remember it. What about you, Savannah? Fashion Week, yes, no?
Okay, what is Fashion Week?
So Fashion Week is this beautiful canopy of dresses and gowns and models and celebrities all gathering in the same place every year at the same time to admire the art that is fashion. And it's a great event and it raises tons of money for charity. And I'm jealous that I can't be there, which is the only reason I think we should get rid of it.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
I can't enjoy this. Nobody else can.
I've ever heard.
Girl, you're fierce.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I guess I can comment on fashion in general. You know, I love fashion. I love, you know, seeing different pieces of dresses but at the same time, I feel like it needs to change because it's just like I look at all these beautiful clothes and I'm just like, I will never be able to fit in them, you know? So
you will when I make enough money to start my own fashion line, because then I promise I will design clothes for girls like us.
all right, good. I'm looking forward to that.
Renita's going to be my head model.
What?
Yeah.
She said she only didn't like public speaking. She didn't say she didn't mind modeling.
That's true. I mean, I'm scared of that
Well,
too. You know my philosophy.
how much would you pay?
Lots.
Okay.
I'm going to be
I'll
one of
do
those
it.
rare bosses that actually does pay her employees.
All right, awesome.
Savannah's a
I'll do it.
businesswoman. Savannah's a businesswoman. She said, "What's the price?"
Yeah, she's a woman after my own heart. All right, Avi, should women and men who are not Black be using the language of Avi?
What is that?
So that is the Black slang, essentially.
So what's the question?
Should people who are not Black be using it?
That is such a that's just, I don't know. I don't even know if I can answer it, because there's this big argument that if you're Puerto Rican or Latina, it's okay, but you have to be a certain Latin thing and another. I don't know. Like, I feel like they change the rules every other day. I feel like not even us should say some of that stuff, in my opinion. So I don't know.
I feel like it's kind of up there with the N-word. Like, look, if you know it and you've been taught it by your family and your friends and they have let you in on the secret that is the language, by all means, go ahead and use it. I don't use it because I don't know the language. If you come at me talking with slang, I'm gonna be like, here is an English dictionary. This is the language that I speak. You can speak this. I will come to you and we will have a conversation. But look, I am lazy. I'm not racist, but I'm lazy. I will learn French. I will learn Spanish. I will learn Greek and Roman. I will learn a bunch of different languages. But if I don't know your language, don't expect me to know just because I have colored skin.
And I agree with that. I got teased because I still don't know a lot of slang. Like, I get teased all the time and people just talk over my head. And when I'm like, what are you saying? Look at her. Like, I look at her being all proper. Everybody's not educated like you. What?
Yeah, I can honestly say that Black Twitter is not a place that I belong.
I love Black Twitter. It's so controversial.
Black Twitter scares me because I never know what side of any topic I'm supposed to be on, because no matter what side of the topic you're on, you're always in the wrong.
I just don't respond. I just like and retweet because I'm afraid to.
Yeah,
I have to look up a bunch of words. Like I said, I grew up in an all-white environment. The environment I'm in now is pretty white. Again, I'm from Indiana, the southern part.
You're a race
dude,
curse.
I live in Surrey, British Columbia, and every time I see a Black person, I'm like, ooh, I'm not alone. And my mom was like, what is wrong with you? Like, look, for 25 years, there were no Black people here, and now they are here. They are coming. My people are coming for me, and they are coming to see their princess. I am happy, and I am celebrating every Black person I see. And every Black person I see gets it. They know, they understand. They grew up in places where there were not a lot of Black people. But the white people are like, what is wrong with you? We're taking over and I'm excited. That's what's wrong with me. I have one black neighbor. One.
Oh, well, I have one upstairs.
Yeah.
But that's about it. We're pretty much alone in this block. So
we have literally like on each floor of my apartment building, there's a single black neighbor. At this point, I'm kind of like, y'all might as well just live together, but whatever. What is your superpower?
It's an interesting question.
I think I answered this with you and Allison.
Yeah, you did.
So I got to answer again?
Yeah.
I don't remember what I said.
Well, people evolve, so your answer might be different.
You said that your superpower was knowing where you are and being happy with where you are and always growing and being stronger.
That sounds about right.
But I think your superpower is your ability to make other people feel good about themselves.
That's my goal. If I could just touch one person.
Barrie, what's your superpower? Besides cooking,
fucked if I know.
And sewing and like all the art stuff that you do.
Well, I thank my mother for showing me everything she knew. So
you can sew?
Yeah, I can sew.
He can do it all, dude.
I can't knit though. My brother can knit
or sew. I'm impressed.
I'm a good hugger.
That remains to be seen.
I'll stop being on the other side of the universe.
When I finally get married, we'll find out.
That's actually a great superpower. Do you know that a hug, if you get a hug a day, that would
comforting thing you can experience.
It extends your lifespan too.
I work in kitchens. I do 16, 12-hour days. And I look over the dishwasher, he feeling down. I'm like, dude, come on, bring it in. And just the humanization of that just, comforts.
Yeah.
Like and when I'm down, someone looks at me, does that does the world for me.
That's a great superpower. I love you. Now I want to.
It's a good during COVID times, though.
I would hug you during COVID times. What about you, Savannah? What's your superpower?
I don't know. I've been sitting here thinking about it, and I think I don't know. Like, people have told me that I'm able to understand them. So I guess understanding others and where they're coming from. But really, I want teleportation because I can't drive. And I need to go places. So yeah.
Be careful what you wish for. Although teleportation would be cool. I'd be so rich. Oh, I'd be doing this show from the Bahamas.
Yeah.
No question.
Need a new backdrop, not a problem.
We're just about out of time for the rest of the evening, and I'm so glad that you were all able to join us. I had a really great time.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That was where you indoctrinate yourselves to me. For our final question of the evening, how do you define self-love?
Acceptance.
That's a good one.
I'll go first because you guys think about it for a minute. I define self-love as turning the light out when I go to the bathroom or go to take a shower. And then when I'm showering, I'll light a candle and smoke a joint and I'll let the bathroom heat up a little bit and I'll take my time with the shower. I won't I refuse to rush my showers anymore because I have a lot of extra time on my hands now that I'm working from home. So taking that time to get away from the internet and get away from being boxed in my office every day, all day is super healing for me. So for me, that time is just to kind of decompress, listen to some music, relax, let the steam relax my muscles, let the water do its thing, and just kind of chill out from the world.
I love that. This year, well, last year, I'll make it quick, but last year I was all about like cultivating relationships, restoring some relationships lost and building new relationships, just all about relationships with other people. And that was fun and all, but I vowed in 2022 to get a relationship with myself. And the way that I'm like so gun-ho with connecting with others, I felt like I was missing connecting to myself. So this year I practiced self-love by giving the same grace and mercy that I give others, forgiving myself, loving on myself, having confidence in myself, celebrating myself. Everything that I've been putting into others, I'm pouring inside of me. And yeah, it's been a very freeing experience.
I will agree with you on that because I just took a huge project off my shoulders and I felt really bad about it, but I'm like, no. I need that time back. I need that time that I would have spent building this to put into me. So I agree with you 100%. Anyone else?
Well, speaking of forgiveness, like I would define it for myself as giving myself forgiveness, giving myself some grace. Like I have written letters to a past me that was in, I explained I used to be extremely angry and just very out there. And I'm just like, you know what? I know what you were going through and I forgive you, and I mean, not being so hard on myself, not criticizing myself because I already get criticism from the outside world. I already get enough of that. So just grace and self-forgiveness.
I love that you mentioned that, Savannah, because you were the one that taught me to write those letters. And I actually found a letter I wrote to my future self in my drawer while looking for some paperwork the other day. And I was like, oh, and it took everything in me not to open it because it says open in 2023. And I'm like, oh, but I want to open it right now. I want to know what it says.
Yeah.
What about you, B?
For me, I was always challenged with self-acceptance and always apologizing for who I was, what I did. And for me, self-love is not about apologizing for who you are, but trying to be better than you were yesterday. But when you're talking about your whole routine for like taking time for yourself, for me, I get off work from a 12-hour shift, and the first thing I'll go into the kitchen. I'll start making a little something because it's what it allows me to just turn off, stop absorbing, and just let me be me. So taking time to do something you're passionate about, for me, is self-love. And I really love the idea of the letter. I'm going to be trying that.
Dude,
yeah, me too.
It's so hard.
It just sounds like it helps you just release so much stuff.
I forgot that it was there, and then I found
Amazing.
it, and now I know it's there. And now I'm like, ooh, this year can't go by fast enough. It's got to go by faster. It's got to go by faster, so I know what it says. But now I also want to write another one too. So I do it.
You
right
can.
That's the joy.
If you take the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'm gonna write to myself and open it in 2024.
Are you that? Yeah, you.
Oh, high are the flames now outside your window. They were pretty big when I wrote this.
All right, I love you all so much. Thank you for this. This has been really great. Renita, where can people find you online?
www.beyourownkind.com and on Instagram, BE_yourownkind.
And my lovely Savannah, where can people find you?
You can find me on Medium, SK Worley at medium.com. You can also find me reblogging and saying random stuff on Twitter at Savvy Wrote That, SAVVY, and then Wrote That. And yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me.
And Barrie?
The only major presence I have online would be my DeviantArt, which it's not overly upkept, but is Guyvin at DeviantArt, GIYVIN. There you can find a lot of my artwork and my poetry.
Is that how you say that?
Yep.
I've been pronouncing it wrong for 20 years.
That's okay. It's a derogative of given.
Ah, see, that's how I've been saying it. And I'm Devon J Hall, the Loudmouth Brown Girl. You can find me at loudmouthbrowngirl.com. And don't forget, we're currently running a fundraiser, so donate because we could use those funds to promote the website and keep doing this work for free. We've had a really great time with you, and we will see you next month. Thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.